Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another webinar with VLAN Asia in collaboration with Microsoft. We are continuing with the AI trend, and today what we're doing is we're going to review what's behind the brains behind the AI for Microsoft Copilot. Aptly named, the webinar is titled Features, Use Cases, and the Intelligence Behind Work IQ. Now, in our everyday tasks, what we do is we get AI to assist us to do with a lot of things, research, summarization, and also some other things as well, which might take time and effort. So with AI, it makes it a lot faster and it gains us a lot of advantages. Now, what Work IQ really is it gives context towards a function or towards a task. For example, if you wish to summarize a meeting, you no longer have to click a lot of places. With Work IQ, what happens is that it works real time. It collects the data for that meeting that was already happened, and it will write a summary for you, and then you can send it along to all your stakeholders in this sense. So today, Kishan will be going through the use cases and how Work IQ really works in the real world with a lot of examples. I think will be very, very helpful for all of us, not just you, but also with me, because we here at VLAN use Microsoft extensively, and especially for me who has a lot of meetings in a day and requires a lot of summarization and also memorization of facts. I think my manager will also agree with me. So today, Kishan will be presenting that. And without further ado, Kishan, whenever you're ready. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Arif. So hi everyone, welcome back to another webinar session. So we will be looking at Microsoft Copilot today. So let me share my screen without delaying any further. Right, so you can see my screen here. All right. So today's topic is basically Microsoft Copilot Unlocked. So we are focusing mainly on features, use cases, and also intelligence behind Work IQ. So what is Work IQ and all those things, we'll be looking at it. Right, so Arif has already given you guys a heads up like what's our topic about and everything. So let's just jump into it. Right, so a little bit about myself. So my name is Kishan Kumar. So I've completed my diploma in cybersecurity, and then I hold some Microsoft certifications as well as HRD Corp trainer certificate holder as well. So my expertise is mainly on Microsoft, right? And then security, and now moving on to AI, right? Because the world is going towards there. We can't be like standing still in one place, right? We have to grow. So AI is something that I'm actually looking forward. And also I'm basically helping out the companies or maybe the team to actually collaborate using the 365 tool securely, right? Mainly security is the main priority, right? So securely. So the areas that I'm expert is on productivity based administration, right? Copilot, cybersecurity, and also end user cloud technology adoptions, right? So that's a little bit about myself. So now we'll be actually going into what are the things we'll be covering today, right? So there are 6 things that we'll be covering in today's topic, today's webinar, right? So the first part will be introduction to Microsoft Copilot. So introduction to Copilot, it will be very basic of what is Copilot for our better understanding, because people get to get confused a lot, like when we talk about Copilot and everyone is expecting something very less, or maybe sometimes the expectation is too high. We can't really set the proper expectations of what is Copilot, right? So we'll be talking about Copilot and looking at the key features and capabilities. And once we look at the features and capability, we'll be straight away going into live demo this time, right? So our previous webinar is mainly on using the, PowerPoint slides explaining and everything, but today we'll be going into a live demo to showcase how it's actually, work in real life, right? So once we are done with the live demo, we'll be looking at some real world use cases, like who are the people can actually use Copilot, right? So everyone think that only IT team needs it, right? Most of you guys think that IT team needs Copilot, and we don't need that. We can still do it in, as usual, the normal way, or we use, other third-party AI tools, right, outside there, right? So yeah, so we'll be looking at that. And the last topic, which is the fifth, is actually we'll be looking at the intelligence behind work IQ. So we'll be looking at what is work IQ is all about. So work IQ is something that is already in Microsoft ever since Copilot came in. So it's about like quite some time already. But then I would say the understanding of work IQ in our customers' environment is actually very less. So we'll be looking at what is work IQ, what it does, what are the advantages of having work IQ, right? So we'll be looking at all those things. And the main part which I will cover is also the security. So when we talk about AI, everybody, want to know whether my data is secure or not, what's happening with my data. So we'll be looking at that part as well. And then we'll be looking at the, you know, um, these some decision makings and also Q&A. So right, so let's jump into our introduction top slides here. Right. So basically, Copilot is an AI assistance, right, integrated across Microsoft 365. So that is something that I would say the advantage of having Microsoft and Copilot, because it is integrated with all the Microsoft 365 platforms. For an example, if I believe that maybe you guys have some ideas of how ChatGPT works, or maybe Claude. Recently a lot of people using Claude and everything. So you might be thinking, can this be the same way of those applications, right? Actually, if you ask me, every application has its own unique way of presenting, right, or unique way of using it. And Copilot is actually integrated directly to your 365 application. So you don't have to go out of the application. You can just straight away use it from the application itself, like 365 itself, right? So that's the added advantage for me, like, based on myself, that I see that as a big advantage. You don't have to go outside of your Excel or Word or PowerPoint, right? So you can just straight away use everything in one place, right? So basically, to help your daily work or daily basis of activities to get even faster, right? So instead of wasting your time, looking for a lot of things online before you craft an email or maybe prepare a proposal. So we'll be looking at how we can do all these things even faster, right? So in Copilot family, there's actually a few of products, I would say, right? Or maybe a few branches, right? So 365 Copilot is one of it. So we have Copilot Chat, Business Chat, and also Copilot Agent. And then there's many more Copilots actually. So for today's topic, we'll be actually looking at M365, the Microsoft 365 Copilot, which is AI built into your everyday 365 apps, right? So the whole session is about the application, right? Not anything else. So the application that we will be covering is Teams, Outlook, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. So these are the five things that we'll be covering today on 365 Copilot, right? So Copilot at work. So app by app, like what are the things you can do using Copilot, right? So for an instance, if you're looking at Outlook, right? So you can actually summarize an email thread, right? You can also draft a reply within a second, right? And then you can actually adjust the tone of the message. So maybe for us or anyone that actually that type, like for instance myself, when I compose an email, it sounds maybe very plain, you know. So when I compose it, it just looks like a professional, yes, and well mannered, yes, but then it's not a properly or grammarly correct, right? So that's how everybody compose it. But when it comes to Copilot, we can actually get the replies or any messages that we type. We can actually change the tone, maybe look more professional, or maybe you are someone that really well grammarly good, right? And you might use some bombastic words in your emails and everything, but then we might not know that the other person really understand that or not. So you can actually change the tone into more of a simpler way, right? So all these things actually can be adjusted just using Copilot. So the Copilot will actually adjust the email for you, right? Right, that's on the Outlook. When it comes to Teams, so basically you can actually summarize a meeting. So for an instance, if you join that meeting, you need a recap of it or anything, you can get Copilot to get the recap. Maybe you want to know whenever they mention your name, what are the topics they discuss. So you can just let the Copilot know, hey, can you let me know when my name was used in this meeting? So it just gives you a bullet point of things like whenever your name was raised up, right? So yeah, you can actually capture action items, recap missed conversation, right? When it comes to Word, so you can create a first draft, right? So rewrite or refine a content or summarize a long document, right? So PowerPoint, similarly, you can actually build a deck from a document, right? And then generate slides quickly, refine design and layout, right? So for an example, I'll just use myself as an example. So the slides that you are looking at it, right? I prepared it using Copilot. Okay, so the contents and everything. So I just get the contents. So getting the content, I use Copilot also. I get the content and then I just double check the content and then I just say, okay, the content looks good. Just prepare the slide for me, right? And then I'll just let Copilot know, okay, make sure you use the colors based on the Copilot color grading. So something lighter, based on the Copilot colors, right? So it should look like the slides should look like a Copilot training slides. So all these things is actually prepared by Copilot. I just give the content to it, right? So that's on the PowerPoint. Excel, yeah, Excel is something cool we can use in Copilot. So I'll show that as well for analyzing data or preparing generate a formula, prepare sales overview, right? All these things we'll be looking at it. But keep in mind, right? All these things we are focusing on business outcomes, right? Not on the features. We are looking at the business outcome. So my demo is also will be focusing on business outcome, like on whatever that you're going to use it on daily basis, right? Right, so now it's time for a live demonstration, so whereby we will be looking at Outlook, Teams, Word, PowerPoint, and also Excel. Right, so let me just reshare my screen for a better view, right? So we'll be using Outlook as the first example, right? Okay. Okay, all right. So this is one of the example that I would like to use, right? So this is one of the emails, right? So yeah, it's fine. You can just read through the email or anything. So now what we're going to do here is very simple, right? So we're going to summarize the entire email thread, right? And together with deadlines or anything, right? So you can see I'm just pasting it. So I'm just pasting, I already prepare all this. So basically what I'm trying to tell the Copilot is basically, I would like you to summarize this email thread in bullet points, right? Highlighting the key decisions, pending actions, ownerships, and also deadlines, right? So you can see it's a long thread. It's a long thread, right? So I'm just sending it. right? So you can see the Copilot basically continuing to read the email thread to understand what's the context is all about, right? So what is the attachment is all about, whether the attachment is explained or not, right? So now we'll get all the responses here, right? So you can see summary, key decision, so project direction, decision. So customers planning to migrate this number of licenses. What are the next step of progress, timings and dependencies, right? So key insights, right? So all these things are here. So you can see all has been listed as a bullet point here, right? And then as an add-on, it provides me a key insight, which is it's stating that it is important for me. So you can see there's two different deadlines over here, so which is quite important for us to take note, right? So from there, it basically says that if you want, I can draft a follow-up email to push for a closure, right? Or create a deal strategy and kind of thing. So if you need all those things, you can actually continue discussing with Copilot, that's why we call it as an AI assistance, right? It's an AI assistant for you to, discuss a lot of things in between. So for example, next step, we are actually drafting a response, right? So when we would like to draft a response, so maybe I'll just use a prompt, something like this, saying that draft a professional response acknowledging the request, confirming our next step, and proposing a meeting next week, keeping the tone friendly and concise. So I'm just basically letting the Copilot know this is how I want you to draft that email, right? So when I send it, so basically it will just, as usual, again go through the emails and everything, extracting all the information, and then it just drafts an email out of it, right? So you can see, so it doesn't take a lot of time. It's quite fast. It's not even a minute, right? We have this. So you can see, hi, Mr. Good day to you. Thank you for your update. We understand that your team is actually currently reviewing blah, 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 blah. So you can see, even if I myself compose this email, right? I don't think I'll compose this email as good as this. So the sound is actually much more nicer, right? It gives some confidence for the people that actually reading that email, right? So why this works, it gives you an explanation as well, right? Acknowledging the internal discussion, reinforcing next step, proactively suggesting a meeting next week. So we are basically covering all the key points that we need in this email, right? So if we are happy with it, we can just use this to reply, right? So that's how you can actually use a Copilot in what we call a Word, right? Or you can actually type a new email. So for example, let me just keep coming back here. Okay, I think I'll share my entire screens better. Okay, all right. So for an instance, let's say composing a new email, right? So I'm just composing this email to maybe my personal account lah. Let it be that way. Okay, subject is maybe I'll just put it as webinar test. Right. So maybe I'm just hi Kishan. Um, I know if you are happy with our services and project completion. Shall we? I'm just typing something. Shall we have a catch up this week too? So this is something that I'm typing randomly. So most commonly we use just simple words, right, to use it. So if let's say we need a co-pilot assistance to it, right? So for example, try coaching by Copilot. So basically you can see it says that make tone too friendly. So more friendly. So basically the email address, you might consider starting with a greeting like, so it gives us some example. So for example, if I choose apply, so basically rewrite proposal. I hope everything is fair. So you can see, just keep it. So it gives, I hope everything is going smoothly for you, Kishan. Thank you for your trust. So you can see it just rewrite the email, right, for me by using this Copilot itself, right? So if let's say we want to use the adjust tone kind of thing, right? So maybe I'll just copy and paste it over here. Here, so you can see it asked me to share this email because initially, when we open this separately, automatically the emails attached to the Copilot, right? So that's why we use this try coaching by Copilot. So it automatically reads this email. So there's two different functions. Like the initial email is actually something that open separately, right? So that's why the Copilot straight away, you can see it attached this email over here to read all the actions. But when it comes to a new email, right, when I open from the inbox, like go to new email, so basically I can use this Copilot coaching by Copilot to actually prepare this email. So reader sentiments, or I can put it more with clarity, right? So it's up to us how we want to use it, right? The options are there, right? So there's two different way. For new email, you can using this coaching method. So you compose it and then you can actually use this what we call the coaching method to align with how you want the tone to be, how it should look like, right? So now let me just close it. So that's on the email part where it allows you to draft, right? Create a new emails and stuff. Right. So now next we'll be looking at Teams meeting summary. Okay. So we'll be going into Microsoft Teams. So this is one of the meeting that we had before, which I couldn't join this meeting, right? So I have Copilot here, right? So Copilot here, so I'll just use a new one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this. So the deck will be shared to you and you can use the same what we call the prompts as well. I already kept in the deck. So yeah, so what I'm going to say is summarize this meeting, include the purpose of the discussion key, decision made, risk and everything. So the reason I'm actually doing this is because I did not join this meeting, but my colleagues and also whoever in the meeting recorded the session and everything. So I'm basically using Copilot to get a summary of this meeting. So I don't want to go through sit for 28 minutes to, go through the live recording. So I'm going to look at here. So it says that purpose of the discussion is basically for loss of access, key findings, root cause, all this decision, what are the decisions that have been made in the call, types of licenses discussed. So I literally have all this information that is discussed over here, right? So I can just go through and see. So what I think, see, it still keep on going, right? So I have like maybe a 5-minute read of what actually have been discussed in that 28-minute of meeting, right? So is there anything that related to me? I can just take note. If not, then I can just leave it. So that's how fast we can actually get all this information. Just imagine if you have if you are using an AI tool outside of your 365 environment. So basically what you're going to do is you have to, maybe you might need to upload this entire recording to that third party AI tool, whichever AI tool that you guys are using. You have to upload it, right? And then you have to, get this prompt out and everything. But here with Copilot, we don't have to do any uploads or anything. We just use the prompt, directly get the information. So that's on how we can get a summary, right? There's another example I would like to show you guys here. So this time what I'm going to do here is, yeah, so I'm going to do it as a what we call action item, right? So So it's quite simple. So what I'm giving instruction here is extract all action item from this meeting, right? And present them in a table with task, owner, due date, and priority, right? So I'm basically getting my, action item table out directly from here, right? So you can see there's task, revise and send quotation for this number of users, who is the owner, like what's the priority, and then what's the due date, when is the due date kind of things, right? So all these action items is already in this table, right? So you can see all this. So key observation for your context. So it gives me critical deadline. So expires on this number of date and all these things. So suggested next step is basically if you want, I can actually change this project execution plan, timeline phase and everything into what we call into an Excel list. If you need it into an Excel list or maybe a PowerPoint deck, you can just straight away type it over here, right? So you can just ask it to make it as a, for example, what we're gonna do is just give a simple instruction, convert this into an Excel, right? Right, so the execution, all those part will be done, and it gives you a downloadable file, right? So when I download it, so you can see it opens with task, ownership, due date, priority, and all those things. So you don't have to type it. So maybe last time what we do is we have someone in the call who takes minutes, action items, all those things, and then they prepare the table and everything. So right now, basically, we don't need that person to do that manually. We have our AI assistants to actually capture all the information and give it us in whatever form that we need, right? So that's on the Teams, how we can actually utilize Copilot in Microsoft Teams, right? So another example also I've kept there. I joined this meeting late, provide a concise recap. So similarly to what we did. So now we will actually go to Word, right? So what I will do is instead of the first draft, I'll actually use this rewrite option, right? So I have a deck here, which is a long deck, which is prepared, using some AI tool also. But then if let's say the wordings are not properly aligned, or maybe it is too AI, right? So what we're gonna do here is I'm just gonna give an instruction. Rewrite this document to improve clarity, professionalism, and readability while maintaining the original meaning, right? So when I just hit go, so you can see it starts to read each and every single line, right? And continuing the editing part, right? So you can see as long as it still goes on, so it haven't gives us any updates like is it completed or not. So it keeps on going to read whatever updates that need to be done, right? So you can see you might see some sentence changes, wordings changes, all those things you might see here, right? So it just goes all the way down. So once it's done, so basically allows us or let us know that it is completed and how many edits have been done. It is also will be mentioned over here, the total number of edits, and you can actually go through each line and see what are the edits that's been done, right? See, that's the last line. So now you can see, so total number of 23 edits have been done, right? So 23 edits has been done. So you can actually go up, you can see each line, what are the, like edits has been done. So this line has been edited, right? So you can see, so it just go all the way up. So here, you say that you can see I rewrote the document to improve clarity, like I mentioned, right? So key improvement made is refine the title and section wording for a more executive ready tone. So improved grammar and sentence flow, right? So these are the all these are the changes that has been done. So if let's say when you read the lines and it looks okay for you, you just click done. If let's say you find it, oh, okay, it doesn't sound like me, or maybe it is like too professional or something, you just click undo, right? Then it will, you know, remove back all the changes that you have done. So once I click undo, so basically all the changes that has been done is actually back already, right? So that's on how we can actually use Copilot for rewrite a content, right? So if let's say you are looking for um, proposal, okay, so let's create a proposal. So let me just create a new deck. So new document. So I'm just bringing up Copilot. So I'll just use okay. We can just it can be any topic. So I'm just using it as a project proposal for implementing Microsoft Copilot, right? So basically, I'm asking Copilot to prepare a project proposal, right? So you can just use the same word, but just change maybe create a project proposal for my what we call any other projects lah, my Microsoft migration project, or maybe it can be my sales pitch project or something. So it can be any type. You just change some words based on the prompt, then you get. So we can see it just gives all the typing. So implementation approach. So what's the approach? So you can see this is the table. Oh, so these are the approach that we're gonna go about. So while the co-pilot is actually preparing the proposal, I can actually go through read one by one, right? To just double check whether it's necessary or not. So if there's anything that I need to remove, I can just review and just remove it, right? So you can see how quickly we can actually generate all these things. So I started about 10 to 15 minutes ago to showcase each and every single application. So now we are at the third application. So maybe within 10 to 15 minutes, we can actually go through from Outlook, Teams, and now Word. We already prepare a proposal here, right? So I click done. So now what I'm going to do here is actually I'm going to just go read through maybe the what's the executive summary, whether project objective meets my project objective or not. Maybe I might, once I read, maybe I might need to remove the last part. So I'll just remove it. So once the deck is ready, so what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna go through the document one more time. So to read through or whether information is correct. So just double check everything, right? Then you just remove it. Just imagine if you're going to type every single word one by one, right? It's going to take you a lot of time, right? So Copilot actually allows us to, minimize that time that we're going to use for preparing this deck into something else, right? So that's on the word, right? So maybe that's on the create a professional deck. And just now we saw how we can actually rewrite it. Right, now we actually go into PowerPoint, right? So PowerPoint, we have blank presentation here, right? So you can create slides directly from here, right? So you just say give some information or anything and ask it to create. So maybe I'll just upload a file, maybe a small file or something. I'll just okay. So this is actually my profile for my trainer profile. So what I'm gonna say, use this document to prepare trainer profile, right? So I was just too nice, I just say that use this document to prepare trainer profile. So I did not mention what we call the colors or how should it look, should the trainer profile look like or anything. So it will start reviewing my documents and then plan the presentation design and everything. So here you go. So you can see it asks me some suggestions like how you want it to be. So it's a single summary slide or whether compared with 3 to 4, how. So I just want it to be single slide. So, and then the next question is what is the primary audience for this profile? Corporate client, HRD corp, formal submission, general marketing. So what I'm going to do here, this time I'm just going to put it general marketing, right? Should I leave a spot for this headshot photo? No, no need, right? And then submit. So basically, Copilot will actually communicate with you how you prefer to actually have the profile or the slide should look like, right? So once you give your inputs, so basically prepare all the designs and everything with using all the information, right? So to be honest, the slides that I prepared just now, right? Actually, I was starting working on it yesterday, so it just took about like a day for me. So now, which visual direction actually? Because initially I did not mention the type of visual that I'm looking for, so that's why it's actually asking me whether corporate blue and clean white, dark tech with cyan blue, warm slate, or bold thread. So I'm just gonna maybe a dark tech, right? So actually, while I'm actually doing all these things, actually this is all these things we're gonna use it for daily work environment, right? So sometimes you might be using you need to prepare a deck for your presentation, right? And you might have a proposal document, and you need to change that proposal PDF document into what we call a presentation deck. Same concept. You just come here and then upload the document and then ask Copilot to prepare the deck. And it will go through all the documents and then it will prepare a deck for you. So usually when we compare the timeline between Word, Excel, and also PowerPoint, PowerPoint usually takes some time, but it's not like hours of time, but few minutes, right? So if in Word and Excel, it happens within few seconds or maybe in a minute, when it comes to PowerPoint, when you upload a lot of PDF documents, right? Maybe one document consists of 10 page or something. So what happened is that you might be asking for it to prepare 10 different what we call slides. So it will take a few minutes or maybe 5 minutes. Maybe it will keep on asking you some of questions like how the design should look like, how many pages, kind of things. It will ask you. You just need to click, enter. So it still gives, I mean, like saves a lot of time because you might be you're taking a lot of time, or maybe about an hour or two. Maybe if you are memang pro in PowerPoint, maybe you will prepare within an hour of 10 or 20 slides within 1 hour, right? Like me, I'm not a pro in PowerPoint, right? I know how to create, or I know how to, dump in the information, but the designing part, the transition part, all those things, I just use Copilot, right? Just use Copilot to prepare all these things, the transition, everything. So it just applies all the transitions, designing and everything, right? So you can see it's actually checking the image clarity, all those things. So once it's done, then it will just straight away bring it up over here, right? So I think so far almost a minute since we actually start using this deck, right? So yeah, so PowerPoint is something that I would say take a little bit longer time compared to Excel and Word, because Excel and Word is just, there's no design or nothing. It's just Word and tables, right? So it can be much more faster compared to, the design part and everything, right? So meanwhile, we're looking at PowerPoint. Okay, so we already create a deck. Okay, so yeah. So we'll just wait for it. So once PowerPoint is done, we will see the output. How does it look like? Then we'll actually go with Excel, right? So designing a profile slide. So you can see all these in things that actually it's working on. So it keeps you updated, like what's the current status. You can see planning, reviewing, all this, and designing is done. Now it's adjusting the spacing, right? So it's like give you an update, like what are the things it's actually working on, right? Consistently. So far, it's right, 2 minutes. Spacing is done. Now it goes to layout. So you can see there's how many process are there, but we just use, just dump in some information, and then we just, use the layout, given layout, like, title and content kind of things, right? So, but here it's totally different. It just prepare its own layout depending on how the document should look like if when it comes to one singular page, right? And it should include all the informations and everything, right? Okay, investigating slide text error, layout balance. Okay, so I think it's almost there already because it's investigating, inspecting. So all the inspection part is already there. So I would say it's almost there already, right? So far, I think so. It's about 3 minutes or so reading through my deck. I mean, like my documents were fixing a subtitle formatting. So all these things. So you can see it's about when it comes to a document reading, it takes about 3 to 4 minutes. If you are like say you straight away type in here, asking it to prepare this is maybe prepare 5 key points of key points of using Copilot, or maybe 5 key points of um a best salesperson, or maybe best marketing advice or something. It just gives you just consistently give you all the information. So when it transfer the information into a slide, so that's why it takes some time to fixing all the designs, all those things. So yeah, so now here we go. So you can see, since I choose this particular color and everything, so this is how the design is look like. So similarly, what you saw just now when I did my, quick introduction of myself. So these are the information was there, but now it's totally in a different design, right? So that's how cool it is actually when we use Copilot, right? So if let's say you want to, after that, if let's say you want to use a different deck, maybe you might use, you need your trainer profile or something. So once your trainer profile is done, so maybe you might need want to use some other documents. For example, I'll just use, maybe I'll just use it, something from here, right? So compliance requirement proposal. Okay. This is actually quite a big one. So we'll just put it in here, let it generate, right? And then we'll come back later, right? So what I'm gonna do here is generate 10 slides using information in this document. Uh, Follow current color grading. Maybe I'll just say do not ask me any questions as well. Right. You just go about it. So this is how we can actually start preparing a deck straight away from your PDF files, right? So I already give an instruction like what it should do, generate 10 slides using information in this document, follow color grading as well, current color grading. So you just work on the creating the slides, right? So meanwhile, we wait for it for just take a look at that specific outcome. We'll just go for Excel first. right? We will look at the some of the Excel, what we call outputs of Copilot as well. So I have two different documents here. So one is for, this is mainly employee data set here, mainly for HRs. So if you are an HR, you might have some kind of Excel. This is just a you know random or maybe example data set here. So not true. So this is just an example, right? So what I'm gonna do here is I have few prompts as well. So additional prompts that I kept separately here. So we will include this inside the what we call um inside the PowerPoint and slides before we passing it over to you. So what I'm trying to say here is create a new sheet, right? And then I'm just pasting whatever that I copied just now. So what I actually mentioning here is analyze the employee data set and show the salary distribution by department, right? And also I'm asking for highest and lowest average salary, identify any salary outers, and also recommend appropriate visualization. So let's just run this through. Okay. So we actually I've seen this outcome, how it looks like visually and everything. But then since it's a live demo, so we have to redo this again to see the outputs, right? It's quite cool actually, quite nice. So there's about 150 rows, if not mistaken. So yeah. So let's just pull that aside. Okay. So now you can see. So number one, department summary, right? So it gives based on the department, number of employees we have, the total salary and average salary, minimum salary, maximum salary, salary range, all these things, information is there. And then you can see highest and lowest average salary per department. So which is the highest? Operation is actually the highest average salary, and marketing is the lowest over here. So salary outers analysis, right? So all these things is already prepared using Copilot, right? So we can use this chart, or maybe we just change the design based on our own preference, right? So it depends on your own way, how you want it to be. So if you are someone that prefers this way, you can just have it, right? Right. So this is how cool Excel can look like, because I'm not a fan of Excel and I'm very, very bad in Excel also, because there's no any reason for me to use Excel lah. But then when I see that Copilot can actually help me out on all these things, I find it like, wow, quite cool. Next time I don't have to suffer a lot when it comes to Excel. I can just prepare using this, right? So you can see there's key insights and finding. So these are the key insights. So it's quite easy for you to get a entire deck like this, right? And the best part is you can actually save this, right? Save this document. So once you click done, close this. So now the summary is ready, right? So what you can do, you save this, and then same concept, you just upload that Excel into this PowerPoint slide. So I just upload here, use that Excel, and then say prepare, number of slides, maybe 5 slides using this information for my annual presentation finish. So you'll get all the decks, right? From Excel, it will transfer everything into a proper PowerPoint deck, right? So you can see this is still running. So let it run. So this is one of the example for HR people, or maybe those that working on the numbers, right? You can just use Copilot to quickly generate, the summary or analysis of it, right? So let's just see what else we can actually prompt here. Okay, so I have a few more examples. So maybe workforce planning. Okay, So maybe another one. So just create, okay, create a new sheet. And then what I'm going to say is analyze the workforce demographic and provide key insights and employee age distribution, department composition and location breakdown. Identify any notable trends that management should be aware of. Right. So now that we already know all the, salary summaries, highest, lowest, and everything, now what we're going to do here is we're going to analyze the workforce demographic. So the numbers, and everything, all the things that the management should be aware of. Right. So it will create a new sheet as well. So now the new sheet is here. So the new sheet gives a name called workforce demographic. So analysis, you can see employee age distribution. So age group analysis is here, right? So department composition, so together with average salary, age, percentage, head counts and everything. So department ranking, so how many employees, all these things. Location, so you can see based on location, you can see what's the average salary. So if it's Cyberjaya, so you can see the age is about still young, 38 plus, and then the salary average is actually 7,000 plus and everything. So you can see all this informations, right? Using this demographics over here. So everything comes in a table form, right? Not in a word form or anything. So department by location metrics. So headcount. So you can see finance in Cyberjaya, there's 2, 4, 1. So you can see in KL, there's only 1. Maybe you might need to focus more there, right? So you can actually prepare a demographic, something like this, right? So it's actually still going on, right? Still going on. Age groups and everything. Yeah. So this is an example how we can actually prepare information or get information from Copilot, right? By just having a data set. Usually this data set comes from your payroll system. Maybe you might export things from there, or maybe sometimes you have a third party application where you export data from there. And to when you export data from a third party tool, obviously I understand there's a lot of rows and columns that we need to cover. So when we have Copilot together attached with your 365 application, it's much more easier and faster, right, to get all this information done, right? So you can see the workforce demographic is done as well. So that's how quickly we can actually get things done over here, right? So this is on the employee data set. So let me just save it. Okay, close. So now, as a second example, so we will be looking at sales data set as well, right? So just now it was related to maybe HR or finance team, right? Accounts team kind of things. This is mainly for sales team, right? So for sales team, I have different things as well, right? So maybe we will actually summarize the revenue, right? Create a new sheet, right? So you can see what the information that I'm putting in here is summarize total sales revenue by region and identify the highest performing and lowest performing region. Include key insights recommended visualization, right? So we're looking at what we call sales revenue over here, right? So other than sales revenue, I also have something else, highest revenue product, sales performance dashboard, analyze historical sales, profit analysis. Oh yeah, we'll look at profit analysis as a second example. Right. So let's just look at this. Okay. So like I mentioned, if you compare the timing, right, between Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. So PowerPoint is taking quite some time, but when it comes to Word and Excel, it's like on the go update. Like you can see, it's still running, but it already gives you the output, so you can actually quickly go through and review it, right? So instead of waiting, you can actually straight away review it. So you can see. So regional sales performance, you can see units sold, which region, total revenue. So out of 100%, what's the percentage of it? So key performance inside South. So it's still going on, right? So basically you can see maybe it find some other best ways. So it's just simplifying the approach and break it into smaller steps, right? So now you can see a full haven't complete yet, but then a much more better version, right? So you can see highest performing region, lowest performing region here, like I mentioned, right? And then recommendation, the charts and everything. Cool. So now you can see revenue by region. So you can actually select, if let's say if you prefer, different designs, right? You can actually select which design do you prefer, right? So maybe you just prefer like this. So you just choose this. So now it's cool, done, right? So you can see we already quickly get all the information. So now what we're going to do here is create another sheet. Last one, right? So now what we're going to do here is we're going to calculate profit assuming a 30% profit margin. So on all sales revenue, provide a summary of total profit, profit by region, profit by product, right? Identify the profitable areas of the business, right? So now basically we are calculating our profit, right? Profit margin here. So by assuming 30% of profit margin on top of each product, right? So I leave this running. So cool. So now you can see it's almost there. Still working on it. Right. So you can see we have profit by region at the moment. So central, there's 22%, right? All these things. So profit, this is profit by region and then profit by product. Okay, headset, we have 3% of profit, laptop 57%. So you can see all these things, right? Cool. Okay, I think so it's almost there. So most profitable area of the business, you can see it's the South region. We have better profit, right? So assumption profit margin 30%. So all these things are here. So least profitable is actually East and most profitable product is laptop. Least is actually mouse, right? So region profit gain. So you can see all these things is here. So top product contribution to total profit 57%. So now we have our revenue and profit by product, right? So same thing, you can actually choose whichever design you prefer, right? Again, we might prefer like this, so you just select based on it, right? So you can see this is how we can actually quickly prepare a revenue and profit margin sheet, Excel summary, right? So it takes barely 2 to 3 minutes, right? Using the prompt. Right, coming back to our deck here, right? Remember the PowerPoint deck that I updated. So meanwhile, we were looking at Excel, right? So you can see it did not ask me any questions after that because I straight away tell prepare 10, do not ask me any questions by using this document, right? So you can see this is it gives a title, right? Oil and gas, recommended business premium. So yeah, so now we're going for each and every single topic. What is the current setup expressed the business to. So all this information is actually inside that document. So business basic, business standard, so required controls versus current state. So you can see current state and risk. Wow, quite good. So, and then this is what the solution we provide, business, premium, compliance readiness. So quite good. So I asked it to prepare 10 decks, and it's exactly 10 decks. The case for upgrading for business premium. So you can see it's quite cool. So it prepares 10 decks immediately. I would say not immediately, maybe but it barely takes 10 to 15 minutes. I can actually work on a different thing while it's actually working on the background. Right now it's all done. My job is to take maybe another 10 minutes to review all this deck. And if it's okay, then we just save and we are good to go. Right? So that is how we can actually use all these applications with Copilot actually. So this is actually not a quick one. Actually, maybe we took about 30 minutes to look at it. And not only this application, Copilot is also working in other applications in Microsoft, right? In Microsoft, like for example, OneNote, OneDrive, SharePoint. So there's a lot of areas where Copilot work, right? But if you ask me, these are the main product that we are looking at, the most used by users, right? So that's why I choose these 5 topics to showcase to you guys, right? So we haven't finished here, right? We still got a few more to go, but not a live demo, but it's more of a discussion of what else we have in here. So prompts that I use just now is basically bullet points, drafting an email, adjust tones. So all this are basically what I use now. So I don't want to talk about the same thing again. So this is something that I use. And on the notes there, I already kept all the prompt. So we will share the deck to you guys. So the only thing that you have to remind is it's a tip from Mina. So be specific what you want, name the format, the details, and the audience you want to target. Or, so these are the 3 main points I would say that you should really focus on. It doesn't matter whether composing an email or preparing a Word PowerPoint deck, but make sure you give the details what you need, right? So with less detail, AI is actually very generic, I would say, right? Okay, so this is actually the use cases that I wanted to talk about. So because based on the conversation with some of our clients, their understanding is Copilot. Not everybody need Copilot, right? Copilot for maybe for IT team, they can actually use it for generate some codings, for preparing some PowerShell script or anything. But most of the time, IT team barely use all the main application like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, because IT team mostly working on something on a device, right? Or maybe they're fixing the laptop, maybe they're actually working on a system, right? A different system kind of thing. But the normal users, the regular users, like whoever in this meeting today, like maybe I think so, we had 100 over users, right? And so maybe you guys are not from IT department, and maybe based on my live demonstration, it might actually reduce a lot of time for you, right? So you can be a HR person or salesperson, finance, operations management. So you might need these tools to actually work or make your life much more easier, right? So you can see if it's HR, they can prepare job descriptions, policy drafting, interviewing summaries, right? So same goes to sales, meeting preparation, proposal creation, like what I showed just now, right? Or maybe the profit margin calculation, all those things, right? So all this finance, operation management, all these people actually involved in Copilot usage in daily basis, right? So not only IT team, right? So the bigger picture is Copilot is a productivity partner for every department, right? It's an AI assistant for everybody. So not a single person. Lah. So that's what Copilot is all about, right? So now we are moving out from Copilot, right? So we are done with Copilot. So now, actually, I would like to talk about Work IQ engine. So what is actually building your company actually? The AI is actually within your organization, right? So for an instance, what is Work IQ? It's a brain, just imagine it's a brain belongs to your organization, right? So you might be saying all the while we were thinking that, oh, maybe that person is working for 20 years in this company. He might know all in and out of this company, right? We all the while we were pointing out to a person that works in that company for a long time. So we assume that he's the brain of this company. He knows everything. He can survive here for a long time. He knows in and out, right? We focus on a person. But moving forward, we no longer going to focus on a person. We are going to focus on a artificial intelligent brain, which is the work IQ brain, right? So what is work IQ? So understanding work IQ, simple. It measures how work actually happens across your organization. Okay. So work IQ, the brain is actually capturing all the informations that you guys are feeding in, right? So whatever that you search in Copilot, it takes all the information. So over the time, maybe in 6 months or maybe 1 year, 2 years of time, the brain will develop, right? So when the brain develops, it stores all your organization information. So whenever you request something, it gives you much more accurate answers actually based on what you previously, gave information. Like maybe you might be asking, prepare, just now when we ask, prepare a proposal, right? So right now, our VLAN's work IQ brain, the brain is already have information about the proposal. So next time, if let's say the document is actually missing on my end or anything, I can just go to Copilot and say, hey, you prepared a security proposal before this for me. Can you pull out that document? Or maybe can you prepare a same document of that security proposal again? So it prepares the same document for you, right? So all the information that among your colleagues, like whoever is actually using Copilot, so you are basically feeding informations to the brain. So your company organization brain, your organization brain is actually the main thing that you have to look after moving forward. So not only in Copilot, in any of the AI tools that you are using, it's basically a brain that you are training that specific brain how you want it to be. It's like your own personal assistant, right? So work IQ is for your organization assistant, right? So what it helps answer where employees spend their time, what causes productivity bottlenecks, how AI can actually improve your work pattern. So not only that, so it also helps how can actually we can improve the organization in a better way, right? So you can see time allocation, communication load, where is the communication volumes goes in, focus and flow and collaboration pattern. So this is how work IQ is actually understanding your organization. Work IQ provides the insight while Copilot helps user act on them. So that's two different things. So Work IQ provides insight. Copilot helps us to work on it. So Work IQ come and say, hey, you lack, maybe you need to train something on what we call your salesperson. That's what Work IQ says. Copilot basically gives us the tool that we can train or we can showcase how you can actually improvise your sales decision, or maybe how you can prepare your deck easily with much more creative. So even if you have a person or maybe a person like me, which is lack of creativity, but when you combine that person with Copilot, they will actually learn how creatively they can prepare something with the help of Copilot, right? Right. So why work IQ matters actually. So So common workplace challenges like too many meetings, too many emails, constant context switching, information overload, difficulty finding information. Okay, the reason here is the information overload and also difficulties finding information. The only reason is all the while, remember the 20 years working in this company guy, he knows in and out. But do you think he will share everything to the new person? Or do you think he will actually train well the new person? Or what happens if he goes on a leave? All the information is actually stuck on his brain, right? But now what we're gonna do here is with work IQ, we're gonna transfer all the brains under one artificial intelligent brain, which is the work IQ brain. So whenever we need an information, we just go and ask the Copilot, hey, may I know how does this particular quotation was prepared previously? So the work IQ gave, oh, the previous quotation was prepared by Shaiful. Shaiful used to prepare the quotation like this, blah, 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 blah. So you can actually take all this information and maybe use it in your quotation. So it gives us some insight how actually Shaiful used to work with that quotation, right? Because maybe he is the best person in our organization to prepare the quotation. So we take some ideas from him and we prepare our quotation, right? So that's how the work IQ gives us some insight. Oh, okay, Shaiful is no longer available. These are the information it might be helpful for you, right? So how work IQ helps, like I mentioned, identify productivity bottlenecks, highlight collaboration trends, reveal opportunity for AI adoption, measures organizational readiness for AI. All these things can be done using work IQ. It helps us grow further, right? So you can see work IQ doesn't just show what's happening, it helps organization understand where AI can actually improve, right? Or provide greater value, right? Right. So you might be having some question. Okay, so, Kishan, you are saying that work IQ will actually keep all the data or keep all the things that I search in Copilot. How does it do that? Very simple. You can see here, it's a simple graph. We are using the prompt. It goes to Copilot. Copilot brings it to Microsoft Graph. And then Microsoft Graph collect information from email, meeting, chats, and file, and then gives you responses. Why it goes through Microsoft Graph is very simple to understand. All your emails that you are using, the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, email, Outlook emails, Teams, your OneDrive, SharePoint, everything stores in Microsoft Graph, which is a what we call your own uh, boundary of server, your own server, but it's in a cloud server. We are calling it a cloud server, right? So basically, the cloud is Microsoft Graph. So that's where all the information is stored. So when you prompt, it goes to that server, the cloud server, asks for the information using the prompt and giving you the answer, right? So that's how Copilot is actually understanding your work. It uses the prompt to keep it in graph so that it trains the brain, the work IQ brain. So same concept here, yeah, right? So when you ask summarize my customer interaction this week, so Copilot doesn't search the internet. If we go and search the internet, it gives you some random answers, right? Maybe Kishan is asking, summarize my customer interaction this week. And then suddenly I see some other vendor's email, or maybe a gmail.com's email, which is non-related to me. It doesn't make sense, right? If that something happens, that means your data is breached, right? Your data is leaked outside that. So Copilot does not search the internet. Instead, it looks for the content you already have permission to access. So for an instance, if you have permission to a SharePoint, you can actually get the proper answer. If you do not have access to it, you won't get any answer from Copilot, right? So this is how Copilot understands your work and then trains the brain. Okay, right. So by now, you might be having these questions already. Is my data used to train AI? Okay, the simple answer is it's a no. It's a big no, right? People might be thinking, oh, okay, the moment we start using Copilot, or maybe, some old school people might be thinking, oh, we are actually giving information out, we giving information out, right? If you think that we are giving information out, then the moment we use our mobile phones or we are using internet, we are already giving information out. That's how we should assume things, right? So the answer here is actually no. Your work content, is never used to train an AI model, right? It's already in Microsoft, licensing, policy and everything. They're not going to use it to train an AI, because if the moment they train an AI, that means the model or your data is actually outside of your organization, not inside. But the promise here is your organization data stays within your tenant, so within your boundary. So it does not go outside of your organization. It's just inside your organization, right? So they never train any foundation models, right? So the ones that training the foundation model is the AI tools that are we have outside of the organization environment. For an example, we use ChatGPT on daily basis. The Gemini AI we use in daily basis. Now we are using cloud, right? So all these free versions that we use outside, basically they use that information to train the AI model to give better output. So that's why sometimes when you search, you will have response one and response two. They will ask you to select which is the best response. So the moment you select, okay, response two is the best answer, whenever someone else use the same prompt to ask the question, they will get the response to as the most likeliest response for that prompt. So that's how they train the AI model actually, right? So not in Copilot, because Copilot is already within the organization, and only those that purchase Copilot, right, in your organization will have access. So within your organization itself, there's restriction. So we don't have to talk about outside already, right? So never shared externally. Yeah. Your prompt stays within your organization's Microsoft 365 environment, right? Same like your OneDrive data, your SharePoint data stays within your organization, right? So protecting organizational intelligence. So how do we protect it? So basically secure identities, right? Using MFA, conditional access, and least privilege access. And then securing the data is by using sensitive labeling, information protection, encryption. So these are the layers that we need to configure before we start enrolling everyone to Copilot, right? And then control access using SharePoint permission, Teams permission, OneDrive permission. So if you guys know that not everybody have access to all the SharePoints, you have access to your department SharePoint, right? So same thing, that's how we control the access. Monitor AI usage. So Copilot analytics, audit logs, and usage reports. So all these things basically we can monitor as an IT admin. We can actually monitor the AI usage from the backend, right? So this is how we actually protecting the organizational intelligence, right? So we are almost there, right? Smarter decisions on every daily basis, lah. Right. Work IQ basically turns everyday signal into decision leaders can act on, which is see what's matter, right? So whether reveals where time, focus, and collaboration is going to, right? If it's that's something a concern in this current time, you might think your staff is not really focusing on, or maybe they are actually taking a lot of time. So you can actually check, like look through the insights of work IQ, why or where there's actually spending a lot of time. Maybe they don't have a Copilot. Maybe a specific user don't have Copilot, so they might be spending more time on Excel or maybe Word or PowerPoint deck. Maybe they prepare a PowerPoint deck for a meeting for an entire day, right? All those things, right? So decide with confidence. So you have numbers, you have percentage. So when we talk about decision makers, they need numbers, right? They don't need explanation. They need numbers on the screen, right? So that is something Work IQ can actually provide. They give you numbers directly. So that gives a better pattern and also not a guesswork lah for a leaders to make any decisions, right? So act through Copilot. So turn each insight into action right inside your everyday app. So yeah, so when it comes to Copilot, you any action item you can actually straight away change into the daily basis application work, right? Like how I generate my task to do task from my Teams meeting. So I don't have to go through and type each and every single thing. So I just ask the Copilot to prepare the entire task list and then change it to my, give me a downloadable Excel file, right? So yeah, insight earns its value the moment it's changed its decisions, right? So that's on the inside. So if you're someone that focusing more on analytics, insight, or something, some more informations that you need to make decisions, then I think so. We have to start training your own organization brain to get more informations, right? Okay, so key takeaways from this webinar today. So Copilot is your AI assistant. So don't forget on that. So build onto M365 application, right? So that's the main point of having Copilot, right? Unlike other applications, which is not integrated into Microsoft, only Copilot is there, right? So number two, it works everywhere for everyone. So the moment you have the Copilot license, then it works for everyone, everywhere, right? So work IQ is the intelligent layer. It's the brain of your organization. Start building your brain, because if you have a competitor, the competitor is actually start build their own brain already, means then you are actually behind them already, right? They might be taking decisions very fast compared to you need maybe 1 or 2 months to take decision, because you need to calculate all the numbers and everything, right? Your data stays private and secure, right? It's in your tenant, it's within your boundary, it's not going outside, right? So insight drives smarter decisions, right? You can actually clearly make some decisions in a way better way, right? So by saying that, we are actually at the end of the session. So thank you for your time, and sincere apologies for the initial delay. We had some technical issues when my team actually sorted out. So let's just open the floor for discussion. So let's just look at the questions that we have. Right. So stop my sharing. Let me just take a look at the Q&A session first. Wow, I'm just looking at the numbers right now. 145. Very impressive numbers. All right. So, okay, let me just show you. Which departments typically see the fastest benefit from Copilot? Okay, so that's actually a good question. Which department? So I would say, right. So I would say which department typically see the fastest benefit. Then I would say it's actually maybe finance, and maybe daily people that works on the Excels and also PowerPoint decks. Maybe it's finance and sales, I would say, because the IT team, or maybe the people that work on a system, they might not find much of updates, right? So the finance and sales, that the people that keep working on the numbers on daily basis, so they might see the most benefits on daily basis, right? The fastest, I would say, right? Okay, so what else we have? Okay, let's just see. Yep, sure, we will. Sure, we will share. Okay, what else? Okay, how does Copilot ensure that an employee only see information they already authorized to access? Okay, all right. So this is where the security layers comes in, right? Right. Okay, give me a sec. All right. Okay, all right. So give me a sec. Okay, sorry for that. Harif, I guess so you should be taking over, right? Apologies for that. So yeah. I think so. You're on mute.
I'm on mute. Sorry. I think I should be taking a course as well on Teams. Let me know when you're free, Kishan. Okay, there seems to be quite a bit of questions here. Let's go through them bit by bit. One from DK Fu. Our company has been using MS Office and Copilot in last year, 1 year. If we adopt Work IQ today, will it have the data of the last 1 year or start building from the ground up um, the day the implement Work IQ is implemented, Kishan?
Okay, so basically how the work IQ brain works is from the day that we start implementing it. So the moment we actually uh, start using Copilot in the initial stage, we might not be, configuring all the what we call the necessary compliance parts and everything. So we might be using just for the daily basis work and everything. So we not really enrolled Copilot straight away into Work IQ. And Work IQ officially launched, I think so, back in December, right? So it's about like 6, 7 months ago. So we need to enroll in a proper way, not only purchasing the Copilot license, but also implementing the security layers so that the Work IQ brain is start working. But then if you ask me, if you use the like the Copilot chat and everything, right, you might be seeing recently there's some changes where you can see at the top, it says Work IQ. And then last time it wasn't there, but now it's already fully rolled out over there. So I just need to get some read up on the Work IQ, whether it's automatically enrolled right now, or we still need to, configure all the security layers before enrolling into Work IQ. So yeah, that's on that. But it won't take all the 1 year of data. So basically, the moment we start, implementing it, so that's when it starts to, build up our company brain. So yes, Arif, yeah, so that's my answer. All right.
Thanks, Kishan.
Yeah.
Really good answer. We have another question from Cik Abdul Razak. Could you kindly share the slides? Yes, we can. We'll be sharing them quite soon. The team will be on it. Another question from anonymous user. Which departments typically see the fastest benefits from Copilot? Kishan has already replied this, but for the benefit of everyone in attendance, Kishan has replied finance and sales. On the sales side, I think yes, Copilot really does help, especially when we do a lot of our due diligence in terms of researching the prospects that we are that we are engaging with. Also, a lot of guesswork being done without the AI element. So with AI, it doesn't become guesswork. It eliminates a lot of unknowns. For example, addresses, headcount, and also the type of industry that they're in. These things can be quite ambiguous, and these inaccuracies also might affect the preparation before a meeting or before proposal submission. So yes, on the sales side, Copilot really helps. I'm not in finance, so I can't really can't really say. But yeah, typically for finance and sales is beneficial for Copilot implementation. How does Copilot, another question, sorry, how does a Copilot ensure that employees only see information they're already authorized to access? How does Copilot ensure that employees only see information they are already authorized to access?
Yeah.
Can you
Yes, definitely can arrive.
yeah,
So,
sure.
so basically, that's where these what we call the security layer comes in. Based on my explanation initially, Copilot will actually follow through the access that has been given to the employee. So, for an instance, in SharePoint, if you have a structure based on departments, so for example, like right now, even in our organization, I'm not a salesperson, so I cannot actually go and access anything that Harif has access in his SharePoint. So Copilot knows all this backend, what we call the access or permission that has been given to that specific person. And based on that permission, only the information will be stored or shared to that specific employee. So that's why the permission and also the security layer, which is very important for us to go through, and then set it up first before rolling out the Copilot to everybody, with Work IQ. Yeah. Yes, Arif.
Great, Kishan. Thank you for that. Okay, I think that's about it. We are still online. Oh, sorry. There are other questions as well. From Li Ying, is there a limitation of token by session? I think it's something like ChatGPT, whether or not the conversations have limitations in terms of the queries. Kishan, I think that's it.
Okay. Yeah. So based on what I heard at the moment, whatever that I demonstrated in live demonstration, right? You can actually use that by purchasing a Copilot license itself. But when it comes to Copilot agents and all those things, what I heard is Microsoft is trying to, they have licenses, but also they also would like to implement this tokens kind of things. But that is something that we haven't gone into that yet. But based on today's live demonstration, the moment you purchase Microsoft Copilot license, you should be able to use it without any additional token. So yeah. Yes, Eric.
All right. Thank you, Kishan. From Abuza, can we get this recording video of this webinar for future reference? I think we can get you the slides. We'll check with marketing with regards to the recording, whether it's can be made available.
Yes, we do have an update on that also. They can actually follow us on LinkedIn. Keep in touch with us because we will be posting all the updates and also the recordings in our blogs. So they can actually look for updates in VLAN's LinkedIn page. So yeah.
All right. There seems to be other questions in the general chat. Let me just go through it one by one. Okay. All right. So from Ensign, can the Copilot analysis direct in the SharePoint document folder, for example, to analyze and summarize the 30 individual Excel daily report files? I think this is with regards to Excel. Kishan.
Okay. So I'm actually going through the questions also. Where was the question there? It was at the bottom in a general chat, right? Or
Yes,
is
in
it
general chat. Yeah.
general
It's
chat?
from Ensign.
Oh,
Steel.
okay. Can the Copilot analysis direct in the SharePoint document folder, for example, is a customer? Okay, so basically, we are looking at Copilot analysis directly in the SharePoint documents folder, right? So yes, we don't have to really, open an Excel manually, like off the SharePoint. The moment the file is in SharePoint, we can still open the SharePoint file and do the same thing, whatever that I showed just now. So it's not necessarily should be offline. It can be inside SharePoint, which is much more better. So all the updates will be actually a live update to everyone when you use Copilot in SharePoint. So yeah.
Thank you for that. Cik Razak, yes, email, I think we have your email in file. The team can just forward it to you later. Anson has a follow-up question. What is the difference between Work IQ and agent or chatbot?
Okay.
Good question.
Right. Yeah. So Work IQ is basically what we call our organization brain, right? An agent and chatbot is a specific okay, just talk about agents and chatbot, right? A specific tool. For example, in Microsoft, right? Microsoft 365 agent, we can create an agent based on, for example, a knowledge base, right? Just an example. So we are predefining that agent is specifically made for this specific work, right? But whereas Work IQ, it's like entire brain, like it keeps everything inside. But agent is just for a specific thing, right? It's based on how we want to build it. Maybe the agent or chatbot is for knowledge base, or maybe it can be your personal brain, like your brain. So people in your organization, before reaching out to you personally, they can actually go to maybe Agent Kishan. So they just go to Agent Kishan. So maybe I already feed all the informations that I know to the agent. So maybe my lower level team, my second level or first level support team, if they need any information, they just go to Agent Kishan, ask the questions that they need. Once the agent couldn't answer, maybe I did not give the information to the agent, then only they reach out to me. So this is the difference. Work IQ is for the entire organization. Agents and chatbot, it's for mainly a specific need, I would say. So yeah. So yes.
Okay, I'm on mute again. Very irritating. All right. We have another 2 or 3 minutes. If you have any further questions, well, they're very welcome, and we'd like to hear them as well. So we hope that today's session has been fruitful and also informative. I think Kishan has done quite a thorough job in going through the capabilities and also explaining the features of what Work IQ is. I definitely will be looking into it a lot more to improve my quality of work, and also, so that I can log off earlier once I'm done with all my tasks for the day. Yeah, well, still waiting a few more minutes for other questions if there are. If there are any further questions which require any follow-ups or a meeting, do reach out to us through info@VLAN.Asia or through your account managers. I think some of you are very acquainted to me. If not, we can get in touch either on LinkedIn or through email as well. So questions are still welcome if you have any. It can be anything. Let me just go and check. Yeah. Okay, Muhammad Amza has a question. Does Work IQ need an additional license or have extra charge?
Okay. So yeah, Work IQ does not need any extra license or anything. So it's basically comes with Copilot. The moment we have Copilot, so the Work IQ is actually start working already. So the main goal here is we need to get Microsoft Copilot license, and on top of that, we need to work on the security layers, right? We need to work on the access permission, or maybe we need to work on the security compliances. So when we talk about security and compliances setup, so if let's say we don't have the necessary permission is already set up before rolling out Copilot, so that's where we need the add-on licenses on the security and compliance add-on licenses. But then before we go into the security layer, we need to go through the first stage of permission setups and everything. If that is good enough, then if let's say your company does not require a high level security and compliance, what we call setup, then you don't need any add-on licenses. We just go with the basic setup layer and then purchase a Copilot license. Then you will be able to start using or getting the Work IQ of brain, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, Anzari has a follow-up question. Also, how do we know Work IQ is activated? Yeah, I think this is also a very good question. We don't really know when features are activated, right? Yeah, so
yeah.
probably Kishan.
Yeah, sure. So the moment Work IQ is activated, right? So basically we will know, okay, let me just, I'm not sure I can show that right now. So the moment we log into our 365 portal, right, what we can see here, we can see is we can actually turn on Work IQ, we can turn off Work IQ. So when the Work IQ is turned on, right, you can actually call any data or any information from your SharePoint. So the moment you can do that, that means the Work IQ is actually already working for you with Copilot licenses, right? So the moment you can call documents, or you can actually read through all the documents from your SharePoint, OneDrive, or the old prompts that you've given to the Copilot, that means the Work IQ is actually building, the brain is actually building. So that's how we can understand that. So yeah.
All right. Thank you, Kishan. Let me just go through the chats and see whether we have any more. All right. It seems that we do not have any other questions. And before we wrap up, we ask that attendees who have not followed VLAN Asia on LinkedIn give us a follow. There's a lot of features that we share on a weekly basis. That includes also the recordings of these sessions, right? I think it's a very open and receptive page that we run. Our marketing team runs it pretty tight. If there are any inquiries or questions, they're very happy to answer them. And through that page, you can also follow me as well, and also the rest of the VLAN experts. I'm not saying I'm an expert. I just work in sales. So yeah, like, follow, and share our LinkedIn page if you get a chance. And we'll see you again in another webinar. Thank you. Have a good day. And have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.